Ravi here, and today we have a new episode in the art review series. And today we'll be checking out the work of Insist or Zhirui Wang. And if you look at the entire, like these are my favorite, not favorite, but my picks from the ArtStation portfolio. By the way, all of the links will be in the description below. Like I think Insist also does have a YouTube channel, so that's super cool. So you can actually see the process of the paintings, and it's a very direct approach. It's not like you start with a line work. I mean, maybe it's not like it's a bit more direct. I mean, there is some line work I've seen, but it's super rough, like a basic sketch. The vast majority of the process is just painting over the strokes before it, and if you keep doing that process, eventually you can reach like this level of detail, and it's so amazing. I would I would align Insist along with Ruan Jia. He's another artist who has a similar style. Like it's very gritty, very sharp, very textured, but it's highly detailed. I do like these sorts of things where they show you the studies they do behind the scenes. Now, this one is actually pretty cool because you can tell by the line work alone, or the sketch. It already has a cool design, but obviously if you render it even more, it looks even better. And I think Ruan Jia does the same thing. Like he has a few pieces where it's just the line work, I believe, with some base colors, kind of like this one. It was an environmental piece. Like it shows you that you have to be kind of good at two things: construction, like these two pieces here, but also illustration. I consider illustration as more of a rendering type of approach where you paint considered values, lighting and such, and textures. Construction is more of the shape design, the silhouette design, your line work, or how the gesture or the spirit of the thing shows itself. So you kind of have to be good at both to be really there. So I believe this is a reference photo from a film, and then you can use that and make some adjustments. And I believe there's like a monster thing below, perhaps like a fish, or maybe it's blood, who knows, but it's very interesting. Like it shows you that studies are important and you don't have to copy one-on-one. Like not everything has to be like copied, just the major stuff that interests you, that you want to explore. For example, this part right here doesn't even exist. So essentially he just put down, or this artist, they just put down this part and just place it here. So you can experiment with some lighting compositions, texture, effects and such. So these sorts of studies are very nice to see. I've seen a couple of creature designs as well. Same kind of approach, very textured in the end. And it's a very direct painting approach, which I'm a fan of because I'm not a drawer per se. I'm not saying being able to construct things is something I should work on, but I used to start with like line work or drawings, but eventually I became more of a painter. Like I construct things through painting. So you can technically do both. You can do some line works, because even if you paint from the beginning, you are technically constructing something, but drawing it with lines is much easier, I guess. Looks cool. Reminds me a bit of Anthony Jones too. Same vibes, very creature-esque, very alien-ish. I believe this is from the same project, same color scheme. Now this chick is pretty cool. It's a vampire chick. Like I think Insist does have his or her own channel, but I've also seen again a couple of videos from the digital paint. Did I say that? Did I mention that? Fuck it. There's another channel. It's I think it's called Digital Painting CG or something, or World. And this guy is often featured, or this chick artist is often featured in that YouTube channel. And I've seen a couple of, I believe there's a video of this piece, I think, over there. I mean, look at this. And I think the video lasted like 6 hours, more or less, around that range. It was so long, and it kind of shows you that these sorts of illustrations take time. So trying to rush things, I think it kind of defeats the purpose. If you're trying to get a sketch out, like the idea out, sure. But if you're trying to create something that's fully or mostly illustrated, you have to take time. And I'm glad that sometimes these channels, they post like the full real-time video. And just seeing the amount of hours spent on something like this, it just shows you that it takes time, and it's normal for things to not be as fast. I think it's because we're just so used to time-lapse videos that it skews our perception of how long illustrations or paintings take. But look at this. Texture brush. It's the same texture brush or set of texture brushes. It really adds to that gritty look. And even in the end, there's a bit of noise added. It helps to even make things even more grittier. If you just left the background as like a bunch of blurs without this noise, it looks kind of weird. Kind of like this one. Like the background is too soft or too gradient like, and then the character is like extra sharp. So by adding some noise, overall, it kind of combines the background and brings the background into the character a bit. Like it doesn't feel as off. So I think this is the better choice. But I like the blur effect. But I think you just have to add that noise effect after. Same thing here. The noise is a bit big, so I'm not sure why. Maybe, I mean, it still works, but yeah, very interesting. And a lot of the concepts here, aside from the studies, it's a bit dark sometimes. Like sometimes there's like this, there's a lot of storytelling that's happening, and I'm very interested, and I think that's cool. Like it makes you want to explore. For this one, it's pretty simple. Not simple, but it's not a full environment like these ones over here. But same thing. Very gritty. I love the brush strokes. Very direct. And definitely my kind of person. Very good with the lighting, and I love how the skin is not fully like pink. Like there's spots where it's a bit more red or a bit more fleshy. Maybe it's because of the natural blood, kind of where the blood just naturally goes, and the lighting does affect the skin as well. So that's interesting. Some storytelling here happening. I mean, look at the eyes of this cat. I'm not like, is someone watching in the background? I'm not exactly sure. Oh shit, is it me? Holy fucking shit, it's like you're supposed to see this image maybe from behind you or something, or in front of you, like you are this person watching. I mean, who knows? Anyway, but that's a very interesting detail. Like that's a head, and maybe there's a computer or something. Who knows? Or a window. But I like the lighting, very cool. And again, the painting strokes are very direct. I mean, it's not, this one is not as finished, but it's a concept. You get the point. And I love the variety of textures involved. It's not just the plain brush. I mean, you can use a non-textured brush, but it just adds a bit of, I mean, these parts right here are not textured, right? But in other parts there is texture. Having a nice variety helps. Like this piece is a good example of brush variety, but also value and hue variety. Like there's so many hues involved here. And it just makes the painting or image look rich. Oh, maybe I can include Wei Feng along with Insist as well. Sorry, in terms of the style. So this one's more same. The brush is a bit chalky in a way, or like pastel. It has the same vibe. Oh, I can see some softer brush strokes here. Interesting. So again, this figure or this statue is cut off from the background, and the background is blurred again. But this time again without the noise. I would prefer it if there was noise. It just looks extra better, I guess. Same thing, same approach, but a bit darker. 9. Like sometimes you'll find all sorts of weird details. It kind of makes you think, which I think is, it really helps you to keep. It keeps you engaged. Now this one is a good example of taking a reference photo, and it's pretty close to the original one, but you can make some changes with it. More fleshed out hands with the reds, the pinks for the blood parts. Adjustments with the mostly the eyes and maybe some colors here and there, but it's mostly 1-to-1 actually. But and the colors definitely were added. This is pretty dark. Like he has a lot of these, or he or she has a lot of these sorts of illustrations where it's kind of dark. I mean, is this like suicide or something? Or it feels like haunted sometimes. This one reminds me of another artist who does a lot of environments, concept artist, but I forgot the name. Like the name escapes me, but again, look at the approach. Very direct. I don't see line work. Line work isn't really something to show off in this style. The paint strokes are the very direct paint strokes. And the brush itself is kind of squarish or rectangular-ish. So it's very bold and just, it looks nice. Another study, way more hues added. Again, reminds me a bit of Ruanjia again. For example, this piece, it's a bit dark. Like, if you look at the comment section of these sorts of pieces, like people like try to guess what this thing is about. It can look pretty weird and creepy, and you can see all sorts of random, not random, but really interesting details that make you think. Again, look at this simple line work or simple like drawing, where it's not fully rendered, but if you render it, it looks even more amazing. So, oh shit, this is the back view and this is the front view. So, it looks nice. Again, a good example of construction and illustration. You need both generally to stand out or be somewhat well-rounded. Some designs for an armor set. Interesting. I love these dash here strokes. It makes it's kind of signifying that the armor is somewhat rigid or it has like a rougher texture. Very interesting. Like a flower petal in some way. So a headless knight. Now this one's another film study from the Matrix. I forgot the guy's name. M something? Forgot. Look at that. It looks kind of chalkish or pastel-ish. And I like how there's a lot of holes in the texture brush. Like you don't even need the noise brush at this point because eventually you will generate these sorts of like dottier, like just more dots kind of texture with this brush. And again, more darker pieces. Like look at this. Look at the amount of detail involved here. I do recommend you check out the YouTube channel because you will see like it's constant paint overs. Like in the beginning, everything is just planned or just roughed out, like the perspective, the character, the figure silhouettes. But after that, it's just paint over after paint over after paint over until you get to this level of detail. I mean, look at this. Even this part right here, like the mirror, like concept wise, like they're seeing like ghosts or something. Like it's pretty creepy. But look at how realistic it is. A lot of realism in these sorts of illustrations. I mean, look at how creepy this is. So we have a lighter side, we have a darker side. Is that hair? Very scary stuff. Some design shots here. Look at the line work. Simple. But yes, makes sense. So yeah, I do recommend you check out the work of Insist or Zhirui Wang. And I will link all of the links in the... This is from the film The Patriot, I believe. Again, look at how it's more saturated, or there's way more hues added. It's kind of a common theme in Insist's work. Even for the darker ones, like the very creepy ones, even if it's like desaturated, there's still a bunch of hues involved. So it doesn't look as plain. Very scary. Like Jesus. And there's a lot of blood stains sometimes. Like I'm not sure who this person is. Could be the wife or something, like a ghost. a spirit. I like how the foot is here. Like it's a very interesting foot shot. Like it's going like look at how it pulls you in. I'm like come on. Sometimes the themes are kind of out there. Also, oh look at these shadows. And there's a person right here. Fuck. Like there's so many like are these eyes? Like is it a hand? Like look at how weird everything gets, you know? That's a tag. Like there's so many weird details here and it's just kind of creepy. Right? Ugh. Shivers down my spine. Environment piece. Now this one's way more nicer to look at because it's lighter, kind of like this one. It's just brighter and more inviting. But yeah, I do recommend you check out the work of Insist and hopefully you enjoy this art review. And yeah, I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.